vote for a woman, and especially, Nikki Haley. I'm just going to say this. She's probably menopausal. We don't need that.
Okay.
I'll play the rest of that absolutely insane and uncomfortable moment on Fox News in just a moment, and we'll also get to a GOP voter that NBC News caught up with who expressed a similar sentiment in an even more vile fashion. But with that, Fox News does these sort of cafe on the ground segments quite often, and the downside of doing such a thing is you really can't control what people are going to say. In this case, that Trump supporter made her insane misogynistic views about the presidency very known. Here's the whole clip, and notice how quickly the Fox contributor Will Cain goes, she actually thinks any gender is good for the job and they just have to be a good candidate. That's definitely what she said. No, it's not. And then the Fox panel acts like it never happened. Take a look.
You have it from Allen, Texas.
Will, NBC is reporting right now that Michelle Obama's not going to run for president. They're making that announcement this morning. Will you ask, is there a woman in there that we can get her reaction?
Yeah, right here. Let me introduce you. I remember her last name because who forgets a last name that is Tax? But I don't remember your first name. Paula Tax. So NBC just reported that Michelle Obama has said she will not run for president.
Thank God.
Okay.
Yes.
Ainsley said, I would love the reaction from a woman in the crowd. And
I wouldn't vote for a woman, and especially, Nikki Haley. I'm just going to say this. She's probably menopausal. We don't need that.
Okay. She said, how about we vote for people regardless of their gender, just the right person for the job for America?
Yeah, and that's kind of, thanks so much, Will. That's kind of interesting because everyone speculated that she was going to run except her. She has never indicated she was going to run.
No, she never had the appetite.
And what did we ask Jay Johnson in the break? You go, listen, what do you think? Michelle Obama's going to run? He said, no, because she hates politics. Mm-hmm. Right. So, by the way, think about that, too. Joe Biden, and that's the first and second family. We have to wait until February, March now to get it official that I'm not going to run against the former vice president of my husband?
You're exactly right. Everyone always knew that Michelle Obama doesn't have the appetite for politics. She wrote about it in the book. Right. They talked about the issues and the relationship that it caused because she was not political. But she's the only one that polls very high for the Democrat.
Okay, there is so much about that clip that is wild, as I previously mentioned. Watching Will Cain yank the microphone away and go, let's just vote for any gender. Just the best candidate, that's what she meant, was wild. But in a sense, that's Fox News interacting with the monster they've helped create. I saw someone on social media react to that clip saying Fox News got out Fox News by that individual. And then even they are stunned by how insane many of these Trump supporters are. Then the Fox hosts move on like it didn't happen. But what they move on to quickly touch on it, was also ridiculous. They're pointing to the fact that people are talking about Michelle Obama for president, even though she's obviously not interested and keeps saying so in this case, again, to NBC News. Yeah, but Fox News, you're the one making this a story. It doesn't make any sense to create a storyline, then report on how there's a storyline about something and how something's being talked about when you're the one talking about it. Then, as Brian Kilmeade was saying, go, it's so weird. She keeps saying she's not going to run, but people just keep talking about it. You do. You keep making this a story. So strange. Now, of course, going back to the clip of the woman in the cafe, this is not just a one-off. Here's an individual that NBC News talked to.
What do you think of Nikki Haley? Did you ever consider her?
What I got to say, you don't really want to put it on.
Let me hear it.
Well, the woman's not going to be a good president. She don't have no balls to scratch. She's just going to scratch her head. All a woman's good for in my book is having babies and taking care of the house, but that's the old thing, but I'm old school.
So you never even considered her?
No.
Mainly because she's a woman?
Because she's female. I mean, females, don't take me wrong, females know what they're doing, but they still got to have a little bit of guidance. Trump would be the one to guide her through the...
So, as vile as it gets, my goodness. And this gets to one of the issues we're still really dealing with in politics. And that's overt, as I'm showing you in this segment, and subconscious bias. There are some people, like the woman and the man in those two clips, who overtly say they wouldn't vote for a woman for absurd reasons. And I'm sure they both disqualify people based on other identity classifications as well. But then there are other people who don't even know they're doing a similar thing, but they are. A lot of times people just feel like, I don't know, that person's not likable or doesn't seem presidential or whatever it might be. And often that means, again, without really even knowing it, unlike the two individuals we've looked at, is the person to someone doesn't look like how they picture a president because, for example, they're a woman. And that's something we really have to call attention to so that people really check themselves and make sure when they are quickly disqualifying someone as not the vibe they're wanting, it's not for harmful reasons. It's fine to just sort of make a quick judgment and say, I don't know, that's just not a person that strikes me as compelling. But you got to make sure you're not doing that for harmful reasons. Or you can know you're doing it for harmful reasons and broadcast that to the entire world, as the two people we've watched. Yeesh. Now, by the way, back to the Michelle Obama for president talk. I think people need to just start accepting that we're in a Trump-Biden rematch. Okay, we are. The talk about all these alternative scenarios is accomplishing absolutely nothing and isn't based on the factual set of conditions we're facing. Biden and Trump are almost inevitably going to be their respective parties' nominees. So spending all this time talking about situations that just aren't at all likely to take place is time we're wasting, because we could be spending it on more important conversations like why Trump needs to lose in November and why Biden's record is really strong and why the voters that you saw in those clips need to lose. But I will say the fact that so much of the country doesn't actually think that's the election that we're going into, this Biden-Trump rematch, is part of the reason why the freak out over the polls, in my mind, isn't yet justified. I think once people really start accepting it's either Trump or Biden, and either side really starts general election campaigning, we'll see a really strong shift in Biden's direction. That's my prediction. But one of the things preventing that from happening are these silly, Michelle Obama's going to replace Biden as a nominee, even though she doesn't want to and he doesn't want that to happen, sort of conversations. So yes, it's Biden versus Trump. Let's start organizing and working to make sure Trump is defeated. If you have not watched episode 1 of Deprogrammed yet, the show where I spend an entire day with Trump supporters and see if I can convince them to give up their support for Trump and throw their MAGA hat in the trash, or if you have watched it but you just want to watch it again, make sure to go watch it. I'll put it up on screen here while you watch a quick trailer.
Behind me stand 2 avid supporters of Donald Trump, and by the end of today, I intend on convincing them to throw away their MAGA hat and denounce their support for Donald Trump.
Not a chance.
We'll see.
No, obsessed. So I'm sure y'all were
obsessed. I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with people who want to be dictators, for sure.
That was pretty gross.
That is gross.
I'll count down from 3. You either throw your hat in the trash or put your hat back on and break my heart. 3, 2, 1.